seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes.
Is there anybody out there that wants to roll? And is there anybody out there that wants to boogie? Tonight, live from the Apollo, Glasgow.
Well, if you're looking for trouble, I'm the man to see. If you're looking for satisfaction, it's satisfaction guaranteed. I'm as cool as a body on ice, hotter than the rolling dice. Send you to heaven, or take you to hell. I ain't fooling, can't you tell? I'm a live one.
Welcome to Glasgow Apollo Live with Scott and Andy.
That still makes me laugh. Good evening and welcome to Glasgow Apollo Live, where we've got a whole load of music, memories and mayhem from the life and times of the Glasgow Apollo and the Greens Playhouse. My name is Scott MacArthur. Hello.
And my name is Andy Muir. Hello. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Tippity tip top.
It's a bit cold for you, is it not, over there?
It has been a little bit cold for me in the last few days. Still wearing my shorts though.
Aye. For new viewers, Andy is in Sydney. Oh,
Still
sorry, yes, that
look
was a bit much. Thanks, mate. A bit scary. It's after the
Still
water sharing enough. So. Oh, dear. And, so just so we're consistent, if anyone is tuning in for the first time, especially from the Facebook group, and you would like your name to appear in the chat, and you'll see that in a minute when we start sharing it, you'll see there's a little announcement that I put on the website about an hour ago, and in there you'll see the link there that says chat.restream.io/Facebook. That'll mean that your name will appear in the chat, because if you don't do that, it'll appear like this person here that says Facebook user, evening everyone, hello, how are you doing? But so if you could do that, that'd be fantastic, and Andy will probably tell me who that is in about 3 seconds. But so what are you up to this week? You been busy?
A wee bit, yeah. Just I've not been, I don't know if you know, but I walk a bit, but I haven't done any walking this week. Try and do 10 kilometers a day.
So
I haven't done any.
Oh dear.
It's just been a bit cold, and it's relative, like you were talking about earlier. It's a wee bit. It's not that cold, but it's cold. It's cold enough.
Scottish-ish weather.
It was raining quite heavily and cold. They had snow in places. Yeah.
Well, I'm roasting. I'm up in this little studio in my loft, and it's bloody roasting. I'd opened the window, but there's too much noise comes in, and they would probably turn up the show. Anyway, what have you been listening to this week?
Nothing. Actually, nothing. No, I've been listening to lots of stuff. Right. Incidental. I listen to this guy called Anders Osborne. He's very good. I like him. American guy, very good. Right. Blues, roots guy. He's very good. Yeah. What have you been listening
to? A mixture as well. I came across a few weeks ago a band called Polyphia. Who are?
Oh yeah. Did you watch Rick Beato?
Aye, that's where I got it. Yeah. If you've never heard of Rick Beato and you like music, Rick Beato's YouTube channel is the YouTube channel for music lovers. It is. I mean, he does dissect things to the nth degree, but he comes up with some of these amazing young bands. So that's where I got Polyphia from. Who are they're a bit like an even more complex version of Dream Theater. And I know that'll turn a lot of people off, but but there's no lyric, there's no singer, it's all just music, but really disjointed, really unusual time signatures, really interesting guitar playing, the drumming amazing. So
they're very good.
Yeah, they're very good. And I've been listening to quite a bit of Big Train, another prog group that I like. I've got a new album coming out, and they've just released a prog epic, 7 minutes of twiddliness. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
absolutely love it.
Actually, yeah, I did listen to a remix of your favorite.
Oh God, did you hear that? Yeah, this is regulars will know that I'm a huge Steve Wilson fan. Apart from the Abomination that he just released, which is, in my opinion,
we're okay. Move on.
But one of these songs called "Personal Shopper" with Biffy Clyro, and Biffy Clyro make it sound good. That's how bad the album is. Biffy make it sound better and I quite like it.
I like Biffy Clyro. Shut your face, mate.
Anyway, right, let's get back onto the thing. This week it's going to be the same as most weeks. There's a wee bit. We've got an Apollo memory, which is fantastic, from the competition winner last week.
A competition winning.
Yeah, the competition winner. I think I said.
Right.
All sorts of folks saying hello here. Hi Cheryl, how you doing? Up, how are you? Makes the change us getting better weather. Yeah, well said, Cheryl. And there's Ricky saying nice t-shirt, Scott. Still Lizzie 3 times at the Apollo. Still got tickets stubbed from 81 and 83 Renegade tour. Missing in action. Well, ticket missing in action. We were at the last one, the Ride the Lightning one. That was it, wasn't it? Ride the Lightning was the last tour.
That was Metallica.
It had lightning in it. Thunder and Lightning. There you go. And which was fantastic. The Stalkers in. Hi James, how you doing? Good to see you here.
This doesn't look great. Anyway, right.
So what's happening this week?
This week, well, like I said on my post, if you saw my post, it was quite a short week. Like a lot, there's great bands, but there wasn't a lot of great bands. If that makes any sense. I mean, the Who, there's Black Sabbath, Chicken Shack, and Family. Now, I read some stuff about that Black Sabbath gig. Black Sabbath didn't turn up, but I think they probably did. If Derek's on, he'll probably tell me. Yeah, but I mean, Black Sabbath in 1970.
Yes.
They would have been kicking some bottom then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chicken Shack. Don't know much about Chicken Shack. Don't know much about Family. So bad, didn't do much research this week.
Family did quite well, mate.
Oh, did they? Oh, was that Roger Chapman?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
So that Sabbath tour was their first promoting their first album.
Yeah.
Black Sabbath. Fantastic.
Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band and Henry Cow.
Blinking heck. I
didn't look up Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band because I had seen them before, and they're a bit wacky and a bit
mad,
eccentric. And I looked up Henry Cow. I didn't listen to any music. I read some Wikipedia stuff, and it sounded like that was a match made in heaven for those two bands. Bartley James Harvest and Rare Bird. After that, on Friday, June the 7th. I didn't look up Rare Bird, but I'm so bad at this, mate. I had other stuff to do. I should have looked up Rare Bird to look at their. They had a single, I think, a big hit single in '74.
Bartley James Harvest are interesting. They didn't really go massive, but there's a live album they did in Berlin. I don't know if you've heard it. It's a fantastic, really fantastic album.
Didn't you used to watch that live in Germany video a lot?
Yeah, I did. I know. Yeah. I really liked it. I mean, I think they probably should have been bigger than they were. That's in my opinion.
Really very big in Europe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Blood, Sweat and Tears did a gig. Oh, man, I'm so shockingly bad at not looking this stuff up. Kung Fu. I remember doing it. I think there's a ticket for this, but I'm not. I think that was probably a show by Kung Fu masters doing stuff.
All right, okay.
That would be weird on stage at the Apollo, because you'd only really see it if you were up in the circle, in the upper circle.
Yeah.
B.A. Robertson. Now, I saw a couple of posts. Somebody said, why did he deserve to be on the stage at the Apollo? But presumably his record company paid for the slot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody paid for it, and he went on, and probably wasn't. I think one of the posts was they were working in the promotions department, and they were giving out tickets in all the pubs round about. So it might not have been a great seller, but he probably was very happy to play the Glasgow Apollo.
He's very patriotic guy. He's not a bad lad.
And he wrote some great songs.
Yeah.
And he wrote some great songs for lots of other people. Dr. Hook and Unicorn. Man, didn't look them up. The Who played on Friday, June the 8th. I mean, Dr. Hook are a great band, though.
Yeah, they were good. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Unicorn were up to the standard that Dr. Hook required. The Who, and the Who played Friday, June the 8th. Look at that 3 days worth of gigs there. June the 9th and the 10th, 8th, 9th and 10th. Dire Straits, the Who, Dire Straits, and Stiff Little Fingers. Supported by Starjets. Now, I did look the Starjets up, and they were. I listened to their album yesterday. Excellent. Find it on YouTube. It's really good. It's kind of like Stiff Little Fingers, but a wee bit different. Not as punky, but very good. I loved it. It was excellent. So I've look up.
Never heard of them.
Neither had I. So I just thought I'd take a punt on them, And it's an excellent album. They're very good, and I think they're still sort of doing some. They're not a full-time band, but I think they were still doing doing gigs till 2000. That's the name. They're kind of rock and roll punk.
All right.
It's difficult to explain. Go and listen to them. They're very good. They had the format for rock and roll, but they did it in a sort of not punky, but new wavy type way. They were good. I liked them. Yeah. White Snake, probably a better of a show, and Gary Moore's G-Force. I did look up. Sorry, I did do a wee bit of homework. I'm lying again. I did listen to Gary Moore's G-Force, 2 gigs of theirs from that tour.
All right.
Pretty guitar-y, obviously, Gary Moore, and it was a wee bit poppy too. A bit odd. But and then there's some band played on the June the 10th and June the 11th. Rush.
Aha.
Was this the one where they recorded Closer to the Heart?
80. Yes, it was. Yep, definitely. Come back to that.
Okay, and then probably Sold Out, maybe. I don't know.
Just a bit.
Yeah, I don't even know if they had a support band, so probably not.
Well, they're always.
They usually have.
Very difficult to be a support band for Rush.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. UB40, 1980. That was them coming up to their. Is it Nadia? Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, that makes sense. No, it does. Yeah.
Pinnacle. They'd be climbing up the ladder of success there. Probably a few of the Apollo fans were at that. Girls' School and Raven. I seem to remember Raven.
I was there.
Were you there? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was at that one. Yeah, I was at that one.
What are your memories of that gig, Scott?
Well, Raven were, how do I say it without? Now, Raven were just rubbish. They're like a sort of. Do you remember? I mean, I think there's probably a couple of the guys that like the death metal type stuff. Like Raven, some folk think they were quite important in the musical pantheon, but I thought they were just hilarious. They were that sort of like a bit like Venom, that sort of stuff. Girls' School.
One for the showreel.
Yeah. Girls' School. Well, they were brilliant, and there's a recording. I think it's this gig. There's a recording of, and they've edited it and put some fake crowd noise on it, because there was only 2 rows of us there from my memory, but I remember it being a really good gig, and I remember Kelly, who has sadly passed away. I remember her handing bottles of vodka down into the crowd, but of course I didn't partake, but because I was far too young for that. But it was. I remember it being a good gig, and I tell you, the thing that's on YouTube, and it's linked to our YouTube channel, is actually really, really good gig. It sounds it's very well produced. Yeah. So whatever they did with that gig, they did a good job of it. So yeah, I remember it. It's good.
Is it from the radio? Maybe. Yeah.
I think so, but it's definitely, the crowd is made to sound massive, and it definitely wasn't massive. It was a sort of wine tea level, that sort of 2 or 3 rows of folk. That sort of. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
still very good, but
very good. Yeah. And finishing off the week was Doctor Hook in 1985. So
yeah,
quite a late gig in the history.
One of the last ones.
Yeah, one of the last ones. Yeah. So a good week with some good bands and some. Yeah, it was a good week. When you're looking at stuff, when you see this stuff all the time, you go, "Oh yeah, they're Whitesnake."
Yeah.
Or Dire Straits played whatever, but you forget they're great bands because you see it all the time, and they're really good. And I mean, 1979 Dire Straits. Wow.
I know that would have been really fantastic. Actually, that really would have been good.
The Who, 1979, great gig.
Very good.
Yeah.
I remember. I mean, I loved them for a long, long time, and I'm actually very happy they broke up, because unlike I didn't like the big albums at the end of their career. I liked the earlier albums. I liked Love Over Gold, but I then kind of thought they got, when Sting got involved. I love Sting, but I thought that album was just too commercial for my liking. But my opinion doesn't count. But it was. Here's somebody saying here about back to that lot that you were talking about, Starjets. I think the lead singer of the Starjets cropped up in The Adventurers. Their Broken Land was a great single. All right.
Right.
Okay. And Barry competition. So
I was really impressed by them. I thought they were really good. So if you like Stiff Little Fingers, you'll probably like them.
Yeah. No way SLF. And competition winner, Barry, saying he saw Whitesnake and Gary Moore in Edinburgh on that tour. I think I did as well, actually. But I'm afraid, like a lot of folk, my memory's not particularly perfect. But that Gary Moore's interesting, isn't it? Because he played the Apollo quite a few times.
He did.
With Lizzie and stuff as well. But I always, it was quite, thinking back in it, he was kind of whittling around looking for his genre, wasn't he, for a long time?
Yeah.
He was doing like...
He played every kind of music.
He did, aye. Very clever guy.
He even did hip hop at some point.
Did he? I've not heard that. But I remember him being...
he had to go. Rap or hip hop, I think he had to go.
I think I saw him at Donington, and I saw him at... I think he was supporting Marillion at Milton Keynes Bowl, and he was absolutely fantastic. I mean, he was brilliant, and he'd just gone to the blues, so everybody was expecting the sort of Thin Lizzy songs and all the rest, and he did play them, but he was what an incredible guitar player he was. He was absolutely brilliant. So,
well, did you see him at the Apollo?
I didn't see him at the Apollo, mate. Yeah. No,
that was a great thing.
Yeah, but
I've got great memories of just looking up and going, "That's Gary Miller." That's Gary Miller doing shit. Brilliant. Yeah. He was in Thin Lizzy. He was that guy. Like, you're right. I know.
Who wasn't he in Thin Lizzy? Now here's some. Look at this. I didn't know this. I think I maybe did know this, but I'd forgotten. Christine McVie was in Chicken Shack before joining Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There you go. Yeah. So it's funny. It like 2 weeks ago we had 2 pages of gigs, and this week it's just on 1 page. It's really interesting, isn't it? And I wonder if it's because it's the beginning of the summer or something. But it always rains in Glasgow.
I think I was chatting to Derek McAdam, and he said, well, we sort of discussed it, and maybe it was festivals, but I don't know about festivals, or maybe it was just summer and they were touring somewhere else.
Aye, and there wasn't as many festivals either. There was only really Reading and Donington.
Yeah.
But
there might have been festivals in America or somewhere. You never know.
Possibly, aye. But anyway, let's have a look at the socials, mate, will we?
Yep.
Oh, here's somebody having trouble with the chat. Have a go at refreshing your page, Facebook user. We can see it. Have a go at that.
I'm not seeing it very well either.
Are you not? Right, okay.
Anyway.
Right, okay. This week on the socials, mate, what's been happening? Well,
this week on the socials, we had 59 new members, I think. Thank you very much for joining.
That's
if you're
amazing.
Online, it's great. That's very good. If you are online right now watching us, sorry. Welcome aboard.
Yes, welcome to it.
Welcome aboard. My name is not Tom. So, we have got 9,425 members, which is amazing. Thank you very much.
We're getting there.
Wow. There's a lot of people. Going. And there was 6,531 active members this week. Thank you very much. That was great. 48 posts. There was a post that got a lot of. This is so bad. There was a post that got a lot of comments, but I forgot to look at it. What? What kind of post is that? What research is this? Somebody posted something. A lot of people commented.
Right. Well done, mate.
It was very good. It was great. And I laughed. There's a couple of times I laughed. Yeah. Okay. Go check it out yourself. Do your own research. And there was. I'll give you the top 5 people who did stuff on the Facebook page. Number 5, Bon Scott. Number 4, William McGachan. Lots of images there. Thank you, William. You're cranking out the images. I don't know where you get them. You must have some secret cache of those. Colin Hunter, number 2. Colin Hunter was number 3. Number 2 was Paul Stanley, and number 1. No surprise there, but it's not competition. Derek McCallum, because he posts every day and he posts a lot of stuff, and it's very appreciated. Thanks very much. Yeah, thank you. A good supporter of the site. Yeah, thank you. So it's been a good week. Lots of people posting, lots of people talking.
Yeah. There was one thing.
Sorry. What?
There was one thing that I have to mention because I'd never heard of it, and I thought I knew my Rush. I was really surprised to see this. It was actually a company that posted it, Danforth and Pape.
Is that made up?
Say again?
Is that made up?
Could be. I don't know. I did Google it. Google it, and it is on Google on some of the record. So there's. I don't know if it's. I mean, I have to say I was skeptical myself.
I mean, look at the price.
And the price of it, £21.12, £21.12. Yeah, I thought it's looking a wee bit. But
it looks good. It looks good.
It's great. Yeah. And I thought it was quite nice. I mean, we're having a Rush night tonight, in case you haven't guessed. I loved the fact that on that tour in 1980 that we were talking about earlier on the week-to-week thing, when it was a Permanent Waves tour, and they recorded a bit of the set that was on the Exit Stage Left, fantastic live album by Rush. And to this day, it's amazing how often the band talk about that gig, whether it was on the documentaries or in their books. It's quite fantastic. They really did like, and I know we've been talking about on the after show thing, we've quite often spoken about whether bands could remember what day of the week it was and where they were, etc. I think it's fair to say that Rush did. So I was quite taken by that. So if it's real, great. It does look real, and I wouldn't mind getting a copy of it. I mean, the bootlegs that are available, and I do say bootlegs because they're not on the. I don't think there are rescue recordings of it. You'll hear one of them later. But so that was interesting. I liked that, and I would like, if anyone's heard it, let us know what you think of it and whether or not it was. If you think it's not April the 1st, so I'm doing it in good faith there. So. Other stuff that came up. Now, I posted one of these. Let me just get that wee logo off the screen. Hang on. There it goes. Andy says he's seen these before. I wasn't sure if I had seen them before. And I posted one earlier, and it's had quite a lot of response on the Facebook group. This is the famous tour in 78 when they wore the Scotland strips later on in the gig. And I really liked it. I thought they were really cool, these pictures. They're really, really nice. And although there's better pictures, it's obviously the Apollo, and I like the one on the right there where you see where they were filming it. They see the guy on the left with the big. You couldn't call it a cine camera, could you? But it's quite cool. Filming the gig. These are the guys standing on the platform.
He's actually using film, not video.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and there's another one as well, which is this one. And somebody actually said on the Facebook group, "I was standing right there." Yeah. So I'm glad it brought back some memories. Yeah. What's the bit on the drums riser there? Is it Hill? It says.
No, that's the monitor. That's the monitor. Yeah, that'll be the Hill come. Yeah, that's just the name.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. But, great pictures. Really good pictures.
Someone said, "Oh, that's not the Apollo." That's the Apollo.
It's the Apollo. It's the Apollo.
Let's put it to bed. It's the Apollo.
They put they built up, for those of anyone that doesn't know this, they built a platform for some shows so that they could film them, and those guys are standing on the platform. But what it looked like without the platform was in this one that, again, I don't think I'd seen it before. Andy thinks he did. This is the Stranglers on the Apollo stage, and there's no argument there, is there? No. So thanks very much, Stephen Campbell, for that. It's a cracker. Really captures it. It does look quite small to me, mate. You know, and it's quite interesting, and I'm sure there's a few big Stranglers fans in that probably like that. And then the final one I just wanted to show that was flying around this week was these two here. Now I've seen these before. These are not new pictures, but I just like them because particularly the one on the left, you can really see the boxes, and they were great. Those boxes, weren't they? Were you ever in one?
No, the ashtray.
Yes, absolutely. But they were great, the ashtrays. What was that? The very last Meatloaf gig.
Were you there?
Sorry?
Were you in a box?
I was, yeah. On the other side. On the left-hand side, I was in the one in the middle, if you like, on the second level. Yeah.
Right, okay. Oh, okay. We were down in the stalls.
And so it was really good. I remember it being really good, and the view was amazing. And I'm glad I went, and I wish, it's like a lot of us do, I wish I had a camera there, because like what Doug's just said here about the Stranglers gig, you know, you see yourself, you can imagine where you were. I'd love to have photographs to prove it, or maybe I wouldn't. I don't know if I'm havering about that, because it's quite often quite good having your own memories about these gigs. But there was a lot of folk on today. 2 or 3 folks said today, I don't know how all you guys can remember all these gigs, because I can't even remember what gigs I went to. I think doing this show's been interesting, hasn't it? Because I'm certainly getting a better memory of all the shows I was at.
Should have kept your tickets.
Should have done. Yeah. But there's another story I'll tell some other time about my tickets. I've still got them, but only just. So anyway, that was good. I think we've done well on the socials this week. I was quite pleased to see I mean, I'm amazed that the numbers are still good up. So as Andy said earlier, we're absolutely tickled pink back, guys. Absolutely brilliant. The numbers just keep it up. It's quite extraordinary. So anyway, let's move on to. I am now getting really quite happy about this part. Right, Barry Booth. This is a part of the show where we ask you to contribute little video memories of your time at the Apollo. We've had a few in now, and if you're new to the show, for the last month we were asking people to send us a copy of their recording of their favourite part or their favourite experience at the Apollo. And we did that, and we were giving away a copy of one of the great books that's been written about the Apollo. And Barry Booth won. And it was quite funny because Barry is there. He sent his entry in about 15 minutes before the deadline, and the bugger won. I couldn't believe it. But there was a conspiracy theory because it was very difficult to download, and we couldn't hear whether or not there was any vocal on it. So I was a bit nervous this morning when I sat down, Barry, to edit your video in case there wasn't any sound. But there is. So I don't feel too bad about it. So without anything else, I'm going to play this. Now, Barry, you might notice I've tweaked it a wee bit, mate, but it's fabulous.
Many times, 4 to be exact, twice to see the Quo, Oyster Cult and ZZ Top. But my wide memory is going to see Quo on my birthday, 27th October, when they recorded the live album. Always wanted to see them. So when I got through, went for a few beers, and then got to the gig, and I was actually up in the circle, so I could witness the balcony going up and down, and it did go up and down. It was a brilliant night, all I always remember is all night long, So brilliant times, great memories. I always remember coming back for it, got the last train down back from Queen Street to Edinburgh, but by the time I get back to Edinburgh, all the 5 trains have gone, so I had to phone up the old man, say, can you come and get me? But fair dues to him, he did, he came and got me, He knew back then I loved my music, so keep going, guys, maybe see you later on, Cheers, boogie for Burnt Island, bro.
Isn't that brilliant?
Yeah.
There wasn't a beginning to it. It was just it jumped right into it. Oh God! So well done, Barry. That was brilliant. Absolutely loved it. I hope everybody enjoyed it. It definitely brought a smile to our faces. So if you want to get involved by contributing a video, we'd love it. I'll be up in Glasgow quite soon, and I'll be walking around with a camera and an Apollo t-shirt on, and if you've got a rock and roll t-shirt on, or a punk t-shirt, or a new romantic t-shirt, I'll be talking to you, because one thing I'm not is shy. Got some feedback for you, Barry. There you go. That was lovely seeing wee Barry. How do you know he's wee, James? He could be 7 foot. Barry, what height are you, mate? And Barry's going, oh no, it was brilliant, mate.
Yeah, it's very good. Well done, Barry.
Good. Very, very good. And Facebook user said, brilliant.
I'm impressed by his sideburns.
Aye, they're extra. It should be in Slade.
Yeah.
And here's Bond being positive. We'll be back in lockdown after the Euros. Oh God. I hope not, mate. I hope not. And there's someone else saying brilliant, Barry. So well done. I thought it was fantastic. Really did.
Yeah.
So we've now got about 10 or 11 of these things. So we're starting to get, if you add them up, we're getting towards 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So Andy and I want to try and get it to about half an hour, then we'll wire them together and we'll put them in the Facebook group so that they'll be there forever, unless they ban the group, of course, which is possible. But hopefully we'll survive all this copyright nonsense that's going on. Sorry, I should give context. Rewind, Scott. Every week we get copyright violations. Despite the fact that we're trying to help, we're trying to promote bands, we're trying to play, lost recordings, the very nature of it. And every week we get a copyright claim. There's not any strikes yet, but 3 strikes and we're out. So we'll probably keep going, Andy, I think, until we get a couple of strikes, and then we're going to have to stop playing music on the show, which is really sad. But until it's not YouTube, it's the record companies that's the problem, isn't it? It's not YouTube.
Or go somewhere else.
Yeah, we'll just do it from somewhere else. But it is getting a wee bit annoying at the moment. I went through, there's been 28 shows, and every single one of them, I think, has had a copyright claim.
Does it tell you which song it is? Doesn't matter. We'll discuss it.
It does. It does. We'll talk about it offline, yeah. But here's Cheryl responding to Barry's brilliant little video there. quote on the balcony bounce, just the best. And the quote, yeah, echoing out over the city centre. Absolutely. I remember that as well. I absolutely remember it. It's a shame they turned into the Wombles, but absolutely fantastic. James saying, Barry has made my life complete. Good on you. That's nice. You're saying something nice for a change, James. There you go. And you can't get a copyright violation from our Barry unless you play Barry White. Not to be confused with other stuff. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. So, yeah, well done. Absolutely fantastic. So, I say it'll be on the YouTube channel in the next few weeks, I hope, when Andy and I, we think we've got enough. We're getting towards having enough now. So, and just to remind you guys, if you're wanting to have a look at the YouTube channel, it's coming along fine now. And the address is just www.youtube.com/Glasgow Apollo Live. So it's really easy to find. I added about 3 more rescued recordings to the YouTube channel today. I came across a new Jam one, a new Rush one, and there was another one, a new what was it? Oh, I've forgotten. Anyway, there was 3 new ones just today, so it's well worth looking. I'm trying to create an archive of the archive, and I guess, Andy, that's a good point. I should just give the guys a mention from Rescued Recordings, because a lot of this just would not be possible without the hard work and effort of the team over at Rescued Recordings, and that's Jack McCafferty, Stephen McKinley, and Phil Osborne. They're absolutely outstanding, the work they're doing. The recordings this week, as I say, were really good. The Jam recording's excellent. I nearly put the Jam on, but I just couldn't cope with the Jam tonight. I'm not in a Jam mood, so I had my power of I'm not having them on tonight. It's like still I like Jam sometimes. I like them live. Remember when we first got that bootleg, mate? It was really good. The first Jam. It changed my opinion a wee bit, but sometimes I just can't be bothered with them. So I did put them on. Anyway, so Rescue Recordings, please support them. They're a really good bunch of guys, and we are very, very grateful that they're there. Couldn't do this show without them. All right, so that is the bulk of the show, apart from the final piece of music. Now you probably gathered, I've been hinting at it all night, that tonight we're going to have a piece of music from Canadian outfit Rush. Now, full disclosure, Rush are my favourite band. I could literally talk about them all night, but I won't. Rush started in Toronto in 1968, and contrary to what most people think, neither Geddy Lee nor Neil Peart were in the band originally, but after 6 or 7 different people and 2 or 3 different singers, they finally, with a guy called John Runtsey, it became the sort of the beginnings of the Rush that we all know, and they made their first album called Rush. After that album, Neil Peart came in and the whole band changed. It's not a bad first album, actually, and they still play Working Man, which is on that first album, as a key part of their set. Right. Rush are obviously known to a lot of folk for their, clearly their musicianship, Geddy's squeaky voice, Neil's extraordinary drumming, and also for their complex sci-fi and often fantasy-based lyrics. They've sold, and I mean that actual label is nonsense when you listen to the whole canon of work, because they moved away from that type of writing in the 70s, late 70s.
Well, doesn't their first album sound kind of like Led Zeppelin?
Very like Led Zeppelin, and when you hear them live, there's a great recording of them playing at a school with John on the drums, and they're really good. But Geddy's register is a W. You know, it's not even on the normal scale. You know, he's way up there, but it's very like Led Zeppelin, and they admit it. And weirdly, what a lot of folk don't appreciate is that Rush went out on tour with Kiss. And if you watched the show about Kiss last week, you know what I think of Kiss. I'm not a big fan, but Rush and Kiss really got on, and they're like chalk and cheese, you know, drugs and chasing women and being very naughty and not being able to play an instrument. Kiss, and then, you know, reading books and studying and, you know, being absolutely brilliant musicians, Rush, but they really, really got on. And actually, Kiss have got a lot of credit in the progression of Rush, because in the next 2 or 3 albums, they started to, it's still rocky, but they moved away a bit from the Zeppelin noise and started to find their own way. And the tour that we're going to play from tonight was I personally think it's the Permanent Waves tour in 1980, and I just missed it. Just not young, too young for it in 1980. I went to the 81 tour at Ingliston, but this was the tour that they recorded for Exit Stage Left, and it's when, as I said, I showed you that thing earlier where Gary was obviously in the band, very impressed. So I've taken, I've went for the obvious track off the album, Andy, because I just think it epitomizes it. But this isn't the clean version that's on the album. This is a bootleg, a rescued recording version. So the quality's not 100%. It's about, I would say this is about 65%. Those of you with good ears will see that the sound is maybe a wee bit slow, but nevertheless, this is Rush at the Glasgow Apollo playing their first big hit single, really, Closer to the Heart. Absolutely love this song. And
cool.
Neil Peart drums off into the sunset. Absolutely brilliant. Even although that wasn't the best ever recording, if you listen to that, then listen. And I did it earlier. If you listen to that, then listen to the version on the album. They've hardly edited it. It's absolutely brilliant. Geddy could really sing in those days. I mean, he wasn't so good at the end, but absolutely fantastic. I just adore them. The album that followed that, Moving Pictures, is my favourite album ever. It's a great album. A few comments here. Let me get through these. I only ever got to see Rush once, and that was the Big Shed. The band especially were brilliant. I think I was at that gig. I hated that place, but yeah, they were okay there. Even Rush, with our superior sound and brilliant engineers. They did okay there, but I much preferred them in other venues. I hated that place. Rush supported Rory Gallagher. I didn't know that, on his Canadian tour in '74. And then in '82, Rory opened for them. Yeah. They also, one of the other interesting things, Barry, was the Marillion supported Rush in their Canadian tour. And the review, I mean, there's a brilliant rescued recording of Marillion playing in Toronto, which is Rush's hometown, 30-odd thousand people there. And Marillion really came close to knocking them off the stage, and that's saying something. Fish was absolutely on fire that night. Cheryl saying, strangely, given my musical likes, Bon actually introduced me to Rush only a couple of years ago. Really? And I totally love them. So no apologies for your adulation, Scott. I just, if you ever want to read a book by a musician, Neil's travel logs, he wrote took a diary all the way through his life. The first one, Ghost Rider, will make you cry, but it'll inspire you as well. It's absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to rush out here if I don't shut up in a minute. I'll need to shut up in a minute. I see there's any other comments. I could literally talk about them all night. I could. Someone's asking us if we've got any Rory Gallagher videos. No,
not from the Apollo.
Not from the Apollo. It surprises me. It's a bit like these gigs, like the Queen gig, the silver ticket, or the
But there's no one had video recorders then.
Well, no, but some have appeared, haven't they? The cine ones that have appeared on that tartan video thing. There is a few, but they're rubbish. I mean, there's like Jethro Tull and stuff like that. But
technology at the time wasn't that great. It wasn't. So.
We're lucky to have so many audio recordings, aren't we? Which is here's the stalkers saying, "Kiss aren't my cup of tea, but I'm glad they helped a young Bush." Well, absolutely, they definitely did. Finally, we've got another one here. Finally, see if I went back in time and shouted, "Hello, Scott and Andy. Would you hear me years later talking to you in a rescued recording?" Are you a Doctor Who fan, James, by any chance? Anyway, so that's about it. Anything else? Is there anything we've missed this week? We're short. Why we're shorter, of course, because there was fewer gigs, weren't there?
Yeah.
But
that's true. I would have loved to have seen Rory Gallagher anywhere, actually.
Anywhere. But I think the only hope is, I mean, we have seen in the last 12 months, haven't we? We've seen recordings of Led Zeppelin appear. We've seen that brilliant new video of Genesis, which is not from the Apollo, but absolutely incredible video of Genesis appear just out the blue. So you just never know, do you? And there is a story that I'll tell next week, which I'll come back to that in a minute, that there is actually a vault of videos. There is actually a whole lot of stuff in certain people's bedrooms and in attics and stuff. And some of it we kind of know about, and some of it we want to believe. So you just never know. And as Barry says, there stuff always surfaces.
It does. Yeah.
There must be more, but I mean, AC/DC, there must be more, unless they ran out of, I mean, it was expensive in the day, wasn't it, to use real film? So maybe there isn't more.
I don't think they would have gone, let's not film the whole gig.
Let's switch it off. Yeah.
Let's only do 5 songs.
Yeah.
You'd have to talk to people who were at that gig and say, were the camera people there all the way through, or did they just stop, like do the first 7 songs or 8 songs? Yeah. But
and another one that we've heard very strong rumours about was the Co gig, Barry, that you were at. I don't know if you remember seeing any cameras, Barry, but there is a very, very strong rumour that was recorded on video, and Uncle Boring Francis Rossi, who's clearly been drinking too much or doing something, just doesn't want any of that stuff released. So whether it exists or not, sorry, I can't be doing him. When your heroes become like comedy figures, I used to love the guy. I absolutely loved him. But you never know. It could turn up, mate, sometime. Let's hope it does.
Yeah, you never know.
So, couple of things to finish with. I'm not I think next week, Andy and I briefly talked about this, but I think next week we're not going to have a show because Scotland are playing England. And I reckon folk are not going to be coming on here at 9:30 when the Scotland game's still on. So what we'll do is next week we won't have a show, but if Andy's okay with us, I haven't spoken to him enough time today, we'll still do the after show Zoom, which could be really exciting or really boring, depending on the result and where you come from. I think most of us are Scottish in here, but so if that's all right, we're going to take a miss next week, but we'll still have the after show Zoom. I'll post something in the Facebook group if that's okay with you, Andy. We'll say we'll come on about 10:30, about this time, rather than on it earlier. And we'll just do the Zoom thing rather than the full-on broadcast.
That means I have to get up and watch the game, because if I
yes, it does.
if I come into the chat and you guys are all going, "Oh my God, that was rubbish," I'll go, "All right, okay, I know we didn't do well."
Yeah. No. Oh yeah, I don't know how I feel about it all, but I like the one thing, and probably the worst thing about all of this, is there's always hope, and one of the things that I kind of cope with sometimes is the expectation with these games. But I'm looking forward to it. I don't think we've had as good a team of this for a long time, so we'll wait and see what happens.
You go in with low expectations.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
But even I watched a thing this morning on the radio, on the telly, with 3 English pundits, and what really worried me was the 3 of them said, "I'm really worried about Scotland," and I was like, "Oh no, I don't want to hear that."
Worried for
playing Scotland.
Right. Okay. Are they trying to do the undercard, the underdog thing already? They're England?
I don't know, but
okay. Sorry, we're talking about sport. Let's go.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Hang on. There's a couple of comments I just want to get through, mate, before we go. James is saying we need to suss out the videotapes. Yes, we do. And it's not easy, but we've got irons in fire, I promise you. Trying to sort something out there. John's saying, "Hi, John. Good to see you there again, mate. How you doing? Your book's still in my bookcase. There it is, there, mate. Look, there it is." But there is a technical issue of synchronizing film with sound. Yeah, we've seen that, and the sound is probably more important. That's why, I think I completely understand that. But and for me, I remember Andy and I had an experience with the sound from the Apollo. There was the for those about to rock tour AC/DC. There was a tiny wee bit of it. You remember that, Andy? The first few minutes were released, just the doing on the bell, which was like ridiculous. And I was greeting. It just took me right back to the gig. It's absolutely brilliant. Facebook user saying, was Barry whispering Bob Harris in disguise? Couldn't possibly comment. It's either that or he's maybe was the lead singer of Slade at one point.
Or Jethro.
Or Jeff, yeah. Ricky saying, "Yes, sir, I can headbang, but I need a certain song." Yes. You'll see the little logo at the top. It's everywhere at the moment. And again, even in the Radio 5 Live this morning, they're all saying, Scotland have got the best song. I'm like, oh no, this is like 78 again, Anyway, we hope you enjoyed that. Do you enjoy that, mate?
Yes. Yes, I did. Very good, thank you. Thanks for getting me up so early.
You're a good man.
Sorry, Scott. Barry says it'll save you watching it, Andy. What? It might be a good game, Barry. What?
They'll kick it.
You got little faith. Little faith. Yeah. Who are we playing again? England.
England. Yeah. But
all right. Okay.
And
what sport is this?
Well, does it really matter what sport it is?
No, it doesn't. No.
Although there's not a show next week, on Thursday night at 8:00, I'm doing a ticketed event talking about the story of the Glasgow Apollo. This is to try and raise some funds for the software, etc., that we use. So yes. if you can't go an extra week without any Apollo, come on to that. If you're a regular on here, you'll probably have heard most of it before, but I've got a few wee things, bits and pieces that we've never talked about that I'll talk about on that particular show. If you're interested, either contact me directly or you can go into what's called Funzing. It's there, Funzing, and just type in Glasgow Apollo or my name. and tickets are £13 a head. Doing that for just an hour, and we're going to talk about the venue, the myths, and the music. So it's going to be quite a nice little snapshot of the Glasgow Apollo. But it's going to be for a big audience, rather, not a niche audience. It's going to be for everybody. So I will have to explain a few things that you probably think I knew that, Scott. But your support would be absolutely appreciated if you want to do that next Thursday night. I'd be delighted. And those of you who have bought tickets already, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. It's fantastic. And I think that's it, mate. Unless you've got anything you would like to add, I'm going to check the chat before we go.
No.
Can we have a post-Funzing Zoom on Thursday night? Let me think about that, James. I'm not sure if we could. Let's have a think about that. That's not a bad question. But yeah, that's possible. But let's have a wee think about it. There are people coming on that are not from Glasgow and stuff, so that it might be confuse the hell out of them if we get all Glaswegian on them, or Scottish on them after the event. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your comment as always, Andy. Well done on your research this week. It was impeccable. The one band that we've all got to go and watch is Starjets, because Andy, that was the one he did look into. So well done. So we're all going to be.
Honestly, they're very good.
Yeah, no, I'm up for it. I'm up for it. And I have to be honest, I don't think I've actually heard the G-Force stuff either. So I might go and have a look at that as well, because he's a bit of a legend. That guy.
It's not his best work, but it's his work. Yeah,
it's still him. So it's thanks very much for tuning in to Glasgow Apollo Live, where we talk about the history, the memories, and the mayhem that happened at the Gleeds Playhouse in the Glasgow Apollo. My name's Scott MacArthur, sat here in the Cotswolds.
My name is Andy Muir, and I am in Sydney, Australia.
Like he always has to think about it every time, doesn't he? He's got to try and remember.
I can't remember where I am most of the time. Where am I?
For more of this nonsense, we'll be on Zoom in about 10 minutes. My partner is away tonight. She's out at the cricket thing that's on. Ingerland are playing cricket against somebody. So she's not here tonight. So I'm going to have to go and kiss my boys a good night, but I'll be on Zoom for 15 minutes. If you have a wait before you go on to Zoom, just wait, be patient, because it's probably because I'm kissing my little boys good night. So but we'd love to see some new faces on there if you'd like to come and join us, because I'm getting sick of some of that lot. So it'd be good to see some new faces. So no doubt they're getting sick of it as well.
Good way to alienate your audience.
I don't care. I don't think they care either, mate, from what they've said. Anyway, thank you very much. It's been an absolute blast again, as usual. Cheers, good night, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Good night. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.